Classic. All right, I'm set up.
And I'm good. I guess we don't need any of these.
Yeah, that's a
Tarps.
just in case thing.
Yeah, I mean we got these awnings here, so.
So these are good because they fold in half. They're flimsy as all get go, but
Yeah. They're like the tables you get at like bazaars and stuff.
yeah.
It's the church bazaar.
Look at that breeze over there.
I know, there was a breeze all day long and oh, you guys are ready to camp? Dead.
Here's a good spot.
I don't think I need this. No way. Is it raining? I think
Yeah.
it is.
All day, nothing.
Yeah. Oh, you guys are ready to set up camp? Well, I better get her going, dude.
All right, everyone, welcome to camp. We are officially set up. So we got the Jeep here with its awning deployed. We set up a little cooking station here. Got the Land Cruiser with its awning deployed. We got the tent now. This is a 10-person setup tent, apparently. When those little stretchy things, they wear out, you have to hold every joint together.
It's supposed to hold the poles together.
Yeah, and we had to, well, we got it. It's there. So that's set up. Getting set up for cooking here. We got a nice location. It's really actually, usually up here, there's not a lot of thick kind of undergrowth. With these ponderosa pines, you can see that the branches and leaves don't start till more than halfway up the tree, but there's a nice little dry creek over here, and there's a ton of monsoon clouds above us. So if it does come down a torrential, we should get some flow right here in this creek.
It's raining.
Is it raining?
Again, a tiny bit, yeah.
That's what you call a dry creek. So there was another location back a little farther in the last track that we took, and it was beautiful, really thick trees. They were very close together. It looked like a kind of a young growth because there had fires, you know, come through here periodically. They weren't as big as these, but there was a lot of them, and the whole ground was covered in what looked like a fern type bush. The problem is where this little dry creek comes from, there's a huge creek bed that runs, and there's a lake that it runs into down farther. So if we went down to where the flat area was, it would look beautiful, but if it rained, we had a chance of being in the creek, and probably not the best idea. It's been a while since we've been out together on Can We Survive, and I can tell you, our first day, it's like instant super fun, right? And the big difference this time is we've got two vehicles. We got radios, so driving is what's so much fun.
Now I get to enjoy it too.
Yeah, getting beat up in the passenger seat, it's not nearly as much fun as driving, right?
No.
So
yeah, it's fun going through there, and it's easier. I've never overlanded or anything like that, so with Meaty in the lead, leading, I just followed your your path or whatever, and it was easy.
And these tracks that we're taking here aren't your traditional overlanding. These are covered in rocks and embedded rocks and, you know, creek crossings and hills. This is border lighting on just fun off-roading.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. We actually drove, I don't know, probably 6 hours worth of driving around.
Yeah, a lot. We were up super early too.
Yeah, I got up at 5. I think maybe I was a little excited.
You were 5, I was like 20 after 5, around 5:30 down there. And as soon as we were ready, we vomited. So it's my sad little tent behind me. It's like a greenhouse though. It doesn't look like it should be hot. You know what I mean? The sun's not blasting down on us. There's some green around. It's like, oh, that looks really nice and refreshing. It is very hot. It's actually just doing minimal work setting up the tent. I'm already sweating. It's actually, I think when we pulled over, it was 95 or just over 95 even here. But I say it doesn't feel like 95, but it does. I don't know if that even makes sense. Probably doesn't. Like, oh yeah, I get it. But it feels good to be here. It feels nice. I can't wait for things to go wrong, because things always do for me, whether I forget something or not. I thought I forgot the poles for this thing. I forgot the last trip I was here 2 years ago. I lost my passport, and luckily someone returned it. So I was super grateful for that. And then this time I checked the hotel room at the airport, and then when I got here I realized I forgot the wireless charger for my phone in the hotel room. I'm like, oh my God, every time. But whatever, that's just a charger, can be replaced. When you bring your credit card, I try not to sweat. I'm like, oh well, buy another one, doesn't really matter. So I'm just super happy to be here. It's so swampy though, so swampy.
All right, you guys, let's find out. Well, before I say that, earlier today, about noonish, noon 30, you know, it's that time to feed the belly.
So eat some terrible food.
So we stopped off, not too far back, and had some MREs.
So, Meaty is going to be eating, or Chris is going to be eating Southwest beef and black beans. Normally vegetarians I find the vegetarian meals in MREs much more palatable in general.
Yeah.
And of course, he shafted me with the chicken. Anything chicken in MREs is terrible. You did that on purpose too.
Well, last time I got the chicken, it was pink and it smelled like tuna fish.
It smelled like tuna,
we had
and
to
it
share,
looked raw.
We had to share the taco meal.
But then other people were like, "No, man, that's the way it looks. It was so delicious." I'm like, "Forget
Give me your address. I'll send it to you."
Yeah, forget it. So who knows? Maybe this one's all right, because the last one was just pure chicken in a dish. This one's like pesto pasta. So who knows? Maybe it'll be good.
So I got some vanilla pound cake, apple pieces in spiced sauce, my all-time favorite plug, cheese spread, turkey nuggets. I'm not sure.
What is it?
You're gonna try these first. Turkey nuggets.
Dude, that's gonna be like beef jerky, I bet.
Is it?
I bet you that is.
What's this? Tortillas chipotle.
Oh, yeah, because yours is your meat sauce. I think you got way better stuff, except for the cheese sauce.
Should we check this?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be beef jerky. Called it.
Oh, double wrap too.
And you can't go wrong with beef jerky. I mean,
No,
this stuff is,
it looks like
just stays forever.
teriyaki.
Cheese spread, disgusting.
Delicious.
No, you can have mine. Do you use yours? It's like
It's a
Velveeta cheese or something.
It's like a wax plug.
The wheat snack bread, the driest known bread on the planet.
Maybe if you put the cheese spread on that bread, it'll be even worse.
Did we always get two desserts though? Like apple turnover, which is like I don't even know. It's like the moist pound cake. It's the same. It's almost like your pound cake, and then oatmeal cookie.
Those are always good.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that.
And you got blueberry drink. I got lemonade.
Well, mine's not blueberry. It's supposed to be grape. I don't know why it's
Smurf.
blue. I'm really nervous about the pesto chicken though.
It's inside there where
I won't see the rawness.
So the last time our chicken was in a package like this, when we opened it and looked in there, and it smelled like tuna fish.
It smelled like canned tuna, and it was pink. It almost looked raw, and we were like, nope. Oh well. I'm not gonna use the audio on this.
Here's they got olive oil in it.
Look how greasy that is. I'm gonna be shitting in my tent. Mine is greasy as
looks
balls.
like it's totally beef stew. Look, beans, everything, corn.
Yeah, yours looks like a chili. Mine looks somewhat like pesto, but dude, there's so much. Like, I'm assuming that's olive oil.
Yeah.
Is it real olive oil?
It helps lube things, you know.
Yeah. Maybe, like you said, maybe I'll need the cheese sauce to balance this out. I'm gonna be crapping in my tent tonight.
Not if you take the cheese spread. Mine's pretty good.
It's all right. It's edible.
These particular MREs are probably
3,000 years old.
Well, they're like at least 7 years old to me when I bought them, and they were already surplus at that point.
Jesus, Murphy, these things are super old.
All the MREs
Don't they expire after a while?
No, that's just a date. All the MREs in the past that we ate, we got from like Amazon in the boxes, and these I had before those. And I bought these at a military surplus.
Well, if I do crap my pants, I'm blaming you.
These might be from like...
Or I'm saving it for your Jeep.
Vietnam War or something.
I mean, the flavor's all right.
This is actually
I just need to get that grease all mixed up. This is exactly the way it's going to look.
Kind of like it's almost a little bit better than like one of those Dinty Moore beef stews, you know, in the can.
Chef Boyardee.
The meat has like, you can feel it, like how pulled pork is.
My noodles taste very similar to like Chef Boyardee ravioli noodles. So not the greatest, but I think they have to treat it a certain way, right? Or else they'd be mush after this many years.
I would think so, yeah.
So good. 1 Michelin star.
You can see how it's kind of getting a little shady. We've got a little bit of monsoon cloud over us, but there's been no rain. Would be nice if it did.
Yeah, it's still like 94, 95, but when you get the clouds, that's much better because lower down, like 3,000, 5,000 feet down there, there's like you're just getting blasted.
We made it to about 12:30, almost 1 o'clock or so. I think it was about 12:30.
12:30, yeah.
12:30 before we had to MRE it. Have some really fun trails up to this point.
Oh yeah. Logs, a lot of trees down and stuff. So.
The winds have been nasty.
Nasty.
Look at that. Done. Done.
You want a straw?
I need a shovel. All right, so MREs for lunch, that was one thing, right? It's kind of a tradition for us.
Yeah, and I don't mind them. It's almost fun to see the disaster that you're about to eat, right? Like, but the cookie, you know, the bread's going to be drier than a popcorn fart, and the rest of the
mine
stuff
was good. It was just like a beef stew out of a can, and I think we say that a lot. It's like ravioli.
Yeah, it does. It tastes like ravioli.
And that's fine.
Probably the preservatives.
And as long as those things were in those bags, I think it's pretty darn good. So what we're going to find out right now is, what are we having for dinner?
For dinner, we are having spaghetti. I sometimes use linguine, but I think the traditional is spaghetti aglio e olio. It basically means garlic and olive oil. It's a traditional Italian dish. And it has, lots of garlic, a little bit of chili flakes in it, parsley, lots of olive oil, did I say that? Lots of garlic sliced up, and then you put it in, and then the squeeze of lemon at the end. It's actually very simple, but it's super delicious. And then we're gonna have some grilled shrimp I make a dry rub with actually 2, 4, 6, 7 spices. But normally we're on a fire ban. I was expecting to use this over a fire, but we're just gonna have to make do and grill it in the pan, but it should be absolutely fine. So little pasta, little spaghetti aglio e olio, and just grilled shrimp.
Who are you calling Olio?
Olio!
So you got the nice setup here, and we my camping stuff that I've been using to cook with it's ultra thin, right? I bought it at the store where they sell backpacking stuff, so it's really not the best stuff to use when you're trying to cook something where you need to control the heat. It's like you crack an egg, boom, it's done, you know, because it's so thin. So we went ahead and picked up some of these, a little pot, and a nice, really multi-functional, what do you call it, saucepan or whatever?
Yeah, just a non-stick frying pan, deep dish.
So that should work. That should work really good for us, and that's from Target.
Yeah. Well, we couldn't use the normal traditional camping gear because the stuff is so thin, and when you're cooking stuff, especially when you're trying to simmer garlic, those thin things would just burn the crap out of it. You need something a little bit thicker, which is why we got this stuff. This isn't stuff you'd backpack with. It's heavy, but we have 2 vehicles, so.
I mean, I might backpack with this. This one here.
Oh yeah.
Pasta pot.
Pasta.
I mean, you gotta have your priorities, right? And then good old-fashioned Coleman stove.
Can't go wrong with this. This is tried, tested, and true friggin' stove. This thing is fantastic.
Our goal this first overnighter was just to get back at, well, one, it was, like I said, it's new because we have multi-vehicle. Get out, have some fun, drive, and then make some good food. That's our goal for this overnighter. So
Yeah.
I think we're set up pretty good with what you have on the menu.
And I love the awnings, even though it's monsoon. Like, these things are awesome. Double awnings. It's like having a little porch. Even if it rains, we're good.
Yeah. Yeah, these are, I've seen both of these awnings, whether they're in South Africa or in Australia, the guys have them deployed just in torrential downpours,
Yeah.
you know? So there should be...
Especially that new one. That one's a beast. No poles needed.
It's called the Bush Company. I like it a lot.
We're gonna start prepping with a Klondike guy.
I was trying to mess with you.
First thing I noticed for the pasta, we were supposed to have parsley. And I broke this out. I'm like, that does not look like Italian parsley. I mean, it's similar because it's not curly parsley. This is cilantro, which doesn't go well with the dish and is not very Italian.
If you're gonna have street tacos, it'd be all right.
It's way too strong. So, because you normally use parsley and you chop up like a bunch, like it would be like a quarter cup or a third cup of chopped up parsley. There would be quite a bit in it, but you don't taste it. It doesn't overpower the dish. You use a tablespoon of that and it's going to overpower the entire dish. So, like, I like cilantro. I've actually grown to like it. I never used to like it. I used to get, like, if I got a burrito, I would be like, no cilantro. Like, I don't want it because it would, like, overpower. I find now I like my tacos with cilantro on it.
Strong stuff.
Yeah, but does that taste Italian?
No.
So we're not going to have fresh parsley, but we do have some oregano. It's not part of aglio e olio, but it will still taste Italian-ish.
Okay.
But we're going to do the shrimp dry rub first. Normally I would use, you know, we got the Ziploc freezer bags. We can. I don't like doing it. I like having the oil on the shrimp first, but we might have to do it in the bags.
Shake and bake?
Yeah, I just find it's nicer to have, like, I usually coat my shrimp with the oil and then I hand sprinkle it on so I can control it, whereas this is just like
it really coats it.
We better hope to God that it's not too much, but I've used this recipe before. So it is going to start off with this one here, which is actually going to be really good for us because we don't have a campfire, smoked paprika. So it's going to give it some smokiness.
It's a little smoky.
Smoky. Teaspoon of, I think this is, basil. Teaspoon of oregano. This is for the shrimp though, so not the aglio e olio. If any of you are like, you don't put that in aglio e olio? I know. Oh, I didn't put this on. Can you put that back on?
Oh yeah.
And then garlic. Garlic powder, not garlic salt.
Those are old school tins right there.
Yeah. These old things. I think my mother had them. I don't think any of my spices are like this anymore. But onion powder.
Onion.
Teaspoon of that. This one's actually, what I like about this is super simple. The only one that's, well, two things that are going to be different is the cayenne and the paprika. 2 teaspoons of this, quarter teaspoon of this, or else it's
too hot.
pretty hot. It depends on your, and then a teaspoon basically of everything else. So it's fairly easy. We already got that one. And pepper, I don't always put a teaspoon. It's like, could be overpowering as well, right? What is on the minor one? That should be all right. Should be all right. And this is kosher salt, which is really good for cooking. And if any of you like, I know you asked as well when we were in there, but there is a difference in the salt level of different salts, whether you're using kosher or Malden, I can't remember what it, Malden, iodized, Himalayan. Despite what they look like, there's actually different salt levels of it. They actually have a different salt level. Like, you could use a teaspoon of kosher, but you would use like a half teaspoon of iodize or whatever. Like
Oh yeah.
it's much stronger. So this one actually uses a teaspoon of salt. Those of you that are super healthy, deal with it. I don't like salt. Well, I like flavor.
Yeah.
You gotta have it properly seasoned.
But I do like flavor.
I do love flavor. Well, that's why like people are always like, oh, I don't know how the restaurants get it so tasty. I'm like, there's a boatload of salt,
Yeah.
and they usually use a lot of butter too, like on steaks.
Oh yeah.
Well seasoned, like
Yeah.
well seasoned in there, and they like put tons of butter on it. That's why it's so rich. And then that should be it for that stuff. So this, we're gonna do these after. We'll put this in the Ziploc baggies. We actually have the shrimp in the cooler still, I
Yeah.
think.
Smells good.
Oh, it's pretty tasty. The problem is that I originally used half a teaspoon of cayenne, which doesn't sound like a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but it had a lot of kick. And
Yeah.
I didn't mind it. I actually like the kick, but my youngest Ewan,
Yeah.
not so much. He was like, it's right on the border level. I can't really enjoy it. And I'm like, well, I need to make things that everyone enjoys in the house, or else you're just wasting time. Half the shrimp, way too much shrimp. We got for 2 people, we got 2 pounds of shrimp. I think it's gonna be overkill.
It's family size.
You know what, we could just put them in the cooler after.
Yeah.
Just gonna make sure I'm not overloading one bag or the other. And I did pat the shrimp dry. It usually helps the seasoning stick, but then they say to do that, but then you're putting like lemon juice in and olive oil, which we're putting olive oil in. I'm like, well, what's the point of drying it? You know what I mean, patting it dry. I get that. I do that with steaks to have the seasoning stick and everything, but I don't know, I can't tell which bag needs more. Feed me more. I don't know, what do you think? Which bag did they look kind of even?
Yeah.
Sort of?
Pretty much.
I can't tell. All right, half of this. You know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually use the teaspoon so I know how much I'm using. Is this a teaspoon? Here. 1 teaspoon there. 1 teaspoon there. There you go.
More better.
We'll put the oil in after. The problem is there's so many different ways of doing it. I've heard like with Chinese style cooking, you don't marinate any of the meats that you have with oil because it's hydrophobic. So when you've got things like soy sauce and all those other things in it, if you've got oil in it and that's the first thing that coats the shrimp, it won't take on any of the flavors. It repels like the soy sauce and everything. But that's Asian. I just I just find the olive oil, it's not like it needs to marinate in it. I find the olive oil just helps it in the pan when you're throwing it in, right?
Yeah.
A little less non-sticky.
My bag's good.
Let me put these in the cooler. Time for garlic. And it uses quite a bit of garlic, but because you're sauteing it, I find that it subdues it. You know, like if you get roasted garlic, it's not like as punchy, it's not as hot and overpowering, it's kind of more creamy. Well, you kind of slow cook the garlic in the olive oil.
Right.
So although it's garlicky, it's not like that punchy burn your face. But it does use quite a few of these bulbs.
How many cloves or bulbs?
Usually 6 to 8.
Of the little individual?
Yeah. Not 6 to 8 of these things. That'd be
68.
68. What the dag nabbit? Wow, these are weird. These are really small ones.
They're Arizona ones.
Wow, such thin slices. Hey, was this your garlic that you peeled?
No, that was definitely yours.
It might be because there's chips off and I have my fingers and I'm just grabbing bits.
No, I was slow because I was being very careful.
Oh yeah.
No, that was mine.
Was it?
Probably.
Whatever. Probably wouldn't even notice it if it was in there.
Dude, that garlic is so strong. Holy cow.
It's not going to be that crazy. At least it shouldn't be. But again, is this the vent stuff?
Yeah, vent.
Oh,
Let's fill it.
it's just water. Is that going to be enough?
It's a lot of water.
You want a lot of water with pasta though. Lots of water. The more water you add, it actually allows it to be less sticky. So when people use too little amount of water, that's when you usually get, it builds up the starch in the water, and that's why your pasta sticks. Sticky. That should be all right. That's a good amount. You know what they always say? I know they always say this, and you'll even see
Salted like the ocean.
Salted, yeah, salty as the sea or salty as the ocean. If you made your water as salty as the sea or the ocean, I promise you your pasta will taste terrible.
Yeah.
It'll be the worst thing ever. I think there was even a YouTuber who went to off the shores of Italy, so because that's what they always say, like salty like the sea, you know, like the Mediterranean. And he cooked pasta using like seawater. And it was inedible. Just it was so salty. It was like, that's terrible. Like if you taste the seawater, that's not good. So I usually put, I don't know, about 3 good, like almost tablespoons worth of salt in there. That should be good. A little for luck. The salted like the sea. Now the big question is, how long is this gonna take to boil? That's what I really want to know, because we're at like 7,000 plus feet, and every 5,000 feet it's supposed to dramatically change how long something takes to boil and how long it takes to cook pasta. So all my measuring is gonna be off. Everything's being thrown off here. It's hard to cook in the wilderness. We got 1 pound in there. 1 pound of dry pasta. Oh, I want to time this. Phone. You still smell the garlic?
I do. All right, so tell us what we're doing now besides avoiding hornets, yellow jackets.
One jerk yellow jacket.
He's a big sucker though.
Yeah, that's a big. Oh, he's over there by my tent.
He's trying to pick your tent up.
We're gonna start heating up the olive oil.
Olive.
Now this is only, I say only, it looks like a lot of olive oil. This is a 1/3 cup. Normally it's like 1/2 cup.
This is another part of outdoor cooking you'll have to get used to. Unevenness of the cooking surface.
I'm just noticing that right now. And the giant
it's a real thing.
The shrimp's gonna be a pain in the butt.
It's a real thing. I got rocks underneath the table down here.
Trying to balance it. You know what we need to bring is a level. We need to, oh, you know what?
It's on your phone.
So we're at the 12-minute mark. And I'm gonna try and test this.
You're gonna check if it's an al dente.
I'm gonna throw it off the Jeep. Is it ready? That thing ready?
It's salty.
I don't think that's cooked. No.
Definitely salty though, that salty water.
So you don't have to salt this.
Yeah.
You add it in there, it should be good.
You're perfectly level. That smells good. Olive.
Yeah, the problem is that it's got to be, you don't want it really high because you're not trying to fry the garlic. You don't want it burnt. So that is almost too high. And these things here. You don't want to burn them because it's gonna go all acrid, all bitter.
You don't want bitter.
Oh.
Smells good.
Yep. When they're just slightly, it's okay if they go brown. I know a lot of people are like, oh no, you don't want it brown, you just want it to have, like, if it goes brown, it's all right. You just don't want it like burning or whatever, because it'll make it way too bitter. But yeah, the slant's something. That's something interesting.
Told you, a lot of things you gotta learn about outdoor cooking.
Oh yeah.
This ain't your kitchen.
It's your kitchen. Mother Nature's kitchen.
To the back we go.
You know what? I'm gonna add the We have them over here. Crushed chili. Now, how are you okay with a little bit of spice?
Yep.
A little more spice. Might be spicy. And since we don't have parsley, I'm gonna add a little bit of oregano. And normally, if you use fresh, like when you use fresh parsley on this, you add it near the end because you don't want it cooked. Fresh herbs, you always add near the end, right? But this is dried oregano, and it's okay. And sometimes actually heating up dried spices actually
bring them back to life.
Yeah, it brings them back and actually makes them much more enjoyable. So I'm not sure how much to use because you don't normally put in oregano, but maybe a teaspoon, right? Can't go wrong with oregano. We're at 16 minutes.
There you go. That's what I said, 16 minutes.
Oh, 16 minutes normally would have meant overcooked pasta, so let's see.
Not at 7,200 feet.
Let's see what happens. I'll split one in half, you can try a piece. I think it's actually done. It's going to be overcooked if we don't get it up.
I can't even pick it up. It's alright.
So that is done. And the garlic actually is nicely toasted. I actually prefer it a little bit toasted because it mellows the garlic out. And you use so much garlic.
Yeah.
So important. Like you like garlic, but you're not like, you don't want to be swimming in garlic,
yeah.
Right? I wonder if the oregano will bring something nice. I actually always like trying new things with recipes.
Well, you can see the oregano too, the specks.
Yeah, there's should be a good amount in there. Well, we may do cooking in the
outdoors.
The outdoors. As much as I love the outdoors and I love cooking, the two just aren't that much fun when they're put together. Like, I'm sure we're gonna enjoy it. So the shrimp actually turned out all right. I ended up using a little bit too much olive oil to fry them in because this pan is like it's brand new. So the non-stick, I wasn't sure and I went overboard. I don't know how many shrimp you want, just half of this stuff?
That's good.
There you go. It's a little bit spicy. Pasta's not exactly where it should be, but
the paper plates are my idea.
Hold on. I need my plate underneath it.
I had a wooden plate for B-roll, but I can't be bothered.
We're hot, we're sweaty, we're hungry.
It's funny, the sun has been down or behind the clouds for the last 3 hours, and as soon as he started cooking, the sun broke through and it got really warm.
We're finally getting a breeze though.
Taste test.
Oh.
The crust on the shrimp is perfect.
I like this dry rub. And they got a bit of heat too the more you eat them. But not too much. I think the pasta has more heat than the shrimp.
I think it just tastes like flavorful. Like, it's not spicy to me, it's flavorful, you know? I'm kind of a hot sauce guy though.
Yeah, so yeah, you should be alright. That's why I figured a little bit more. At home I use half the amount of chili flakes because my youngest can't take it, so. And pasta's fine actually. I thought it would be more mushy, but it's actually not.
It's good. It's almost like it stabilized a little bit sitting out there while you did the shrimp. Because at first when I tasted it, I'm like, whoa, that's about a minute.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
It's like actually stabilized.
This is way better.
Yeah.
I don't know why it did that. I agree. This second I tried, I was like, yeah, it's slightly overdone. But this is actually really good.
The way the pasta is, it tastes like refreshing, not heavy. And the way all the different spices and everything you did, it's flavored to me. It just tastes like good flavor, you know?
It's only going to go up from here. That's first round down. We got osso buco some other time, so.
Oh, it's some good stuff. Oh, I'm gonna finish this. 7:39. Sun is well past the horizon. The sky is actually still got some pretty good light, but we're definitely losing light here. It's just sitting around our non-existent campfire.
Yeah, I know. It's not as fun without a campfire, that's for sure.
It is. It's a big deal, right? Is campfires.
Well, you get to play with the campfire. You get to,
Yeah.
you know, part of it is lighting it, and then you're busy because you've got to constantly put wood in it, and you're looking for
Yeah.
dead wood and stuff. But now it's just like, so.
If you're not like partying or anything like that, you probably just, as soon as it gets like really dark, you just go to bed, and so you get up super early when the sun, as soon as
Yeah.
5 o'clock
yeah,
in the morning or
yeah.
something.
Well, I'm luckier than you. You stay up later than I do. I go to bed like old people. I go like I'm in bed at 7:30 and I read. I read for an hour and I'm like asleep by 8:30 or 9. I'm like, oh, I'm the first one in my house to go to bed.
I average like 2
Yeah.
o'clock in the morning.
Well, what are you doing?
I only
Watching
get 6 hours. So I can only sleep for 6
Yeah.
hours, and then I like start to,
nothing. Get restless.
yeah. So yeah, we probably won't do anything tonight because no campfire. I got a lantern out here, but what are you gonna do? So you can't tell lies around a non-existent campfire.
And neither of us drink, so there's
Yeah.
no like shenanigans that way.
No 18-year-old scotch on this trip.
No.
I don't know if you guys can pick that up. I don't have my mic on very loud, but we're pretty sure there's a bear near us. We can hear him.
And
like,
circling us.
Yeah, he was this way there, and now he's this way here, and I don't think he's any farther away like his. And we were like, what's that sound? And it's like, brrr. Whatever it is, it's not small. It ain't a bird.
And it's circling us.
And I'm seriously contemplating sleeping in the Jeep because all I've got is a tent, and Chris is sleeping in the actual vehicle because he's like, oh, I'm gonna try that. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to be sleeping in the tent. Like, we have bears where I camp, but I've never come across a bear. Like, I've seen bears up at like a cottage or whatever, but I've never camped with a bear around. Like, I know they were there, but this one's making a lot of noise.
And he keeps circling like half circles on us.
Yeah, so we're gonna be monitoring this, but I've always said, and I said earlier today, I was like, I'm kind of hoping, since we don't have a campfire, maybe something happens in the night and I could wake up and film it. And it's not even nighttime, and I'm like, I take it back. I don't want anything to happen. I'm like, listen to that. I'm like, oh my God. So we may very well have a bear here, but stay tuned. I don't know what's gonna happen, but great. Those look like boiled eggs.
Mm-hmm.
You do not have the surface here. And the nice thing about brioche is it really sops up the egg.
Sop you up. Sourced from North American maple trees.
What does that mean, though? Just north?
Is it?
Could they not even say Canada? Because I think the world, it's Quebec, is responsible for 70 or 75% of all maple syrup in the world. Yeah.
Because North America.
And then the next highest, I think, is Vermont. So if they say North America,
Could be either one. It smells
Yeah.
really good.
They may be saying that just so that they're like, oh, okay, yeah. Oh, we forgot. Canada is part of North
That's
America.
right. Welcome to America.
I saw America in there, so I figured it was good. Well, because there's always a push of buy American. Same thing up there, buy Canadian. These soggy ones will be yours.
Cool. Soggy bottom, boys.
I actually like it when there's more egg on it, because sometimes it, like I think even my mother, or I don't know who it was when I was younger, there would still be like dry bread in the middle. I don't think that's as good.
I don't want any surprises.
Butter, can't go wrong. The real thing is getting used to this heat.
Yeah, you try and simmer, but there's a breeze, you know, and
well, and also this, although it's got the proper depth and the width that I needed, it still isn't a thick bottom, so it doesn't retain. And the thick bottom's good for making all the heat even all the time.
Right.
Whereas this, it's like instantly hot, but it's only hot while the flame's on it.
hot spot. No self-respecting Canadian would not use Canadian maple syrup.
I just like maple syrup. I don't care where it comes from.
I know. That's from my cousin Vinny.
Oh.
No self-respecting Southerner would eat instant grits. All right.
Okay.
You ever put powdered sugar on yours?
No, but I do usually put like I might put a cinnamon sugar or something like that on it.
And this spork cuts really good, like on the side.
Real good, like.
Yeah, I don't need no stinking knives. Man, that bread is perfect for this.
Brioche is so good for French toast. Because it's
I
soft.
tell you, I don't miss powdered sugar, cinnamon, none of that. It's perfect. That maple syrup's pretty good.
No, I'm not used to eating French toast camping. Not when I was younger. It just wasn't something you would make when you were camping, really.
I mean, you make eggs and stuff, but that's easy, right? I'm finished eating.
That's because I had to keep cooking.
The cook always has to eat last.
It was such a different experience cooking out here, though. Like, I know I'm not an expert cook, but I cook a lot. I'm the cook in the family, and I like making, well, you know, I like making extravagant meals and stuff, and always trying new things. And our concept, or not even our concept, but our idea was like, let's have some like elevated meals while we're camping and overlanding,
Right.
because we would never do that before. It would always be simple, or even like those ready to eat meals, or our MREs.
Yeah.
Well, I still like the MREs. It feels like, but good for lunch or something, right? But out here, there's so many tiny things that make it way more difficult. Just like storage of the food, preparation, what you have, like, do you have the proper number of bowls? Do I have the, like at home, I've got everything, the whisks, I have multiple spatulas, multiple measuring tools, and it's like, did we bring everything? And first thing, I grabbed cilantro instead of parsley.
Right.
Didn't notice that until we got here, and I'm like, well, that's friggin' ruined. And we bought way too much shrimp.
Way too much shrimp.
Because I'm thinking about what I would cook at home for a family of like 5. So we had 2 pounds of shrimp. We only used 1 pound.
1 pound, yeah.
And the other issue too, though, is disposing of the smells. Like when you're camping out here where there's bears, coyotes, and everything, like, you're like, okay, well, where do I get this? We couldn't just pour juice into a bag like that.
Right.
That would be rancid, and we'd have to store it in the vehicle at night. So that made it difficult. And we're like, well, we'll just go over there. And then, of course, at night when we hear certain things, you're like, maybe we shouldn't have poured it over there or thrown it
Why
there.
is the shrimp juice next to my tent?
And then cooking by itself, the pan, like, even although it looks level, the oil's like pooling in somewhere else.
Side, yeah.
And it's like constantly having to maneuver it around. You can't get really, we got both pans on there, but it was quite difficult, like, to get them. I couldn't really shift them around or move them. So you're like having to adjust everything. It was way more difficult.
There's a ton of little things that you don't expect until you actually try it.
Yeah,
and you're using it. It's like you said, the oil running to the back of the pan. Like, oh man, now I have to actually, pick this up and get it leveled and
maneuver it around and move pieces around because they're not on the heating element. And what was the other one?
The elevation,
Oh yeah, for cooking, how long?
because we maybe went a minute long on the pasta.
Which we thought, and then when we ate it, it was like, okay, this is perfect.
Somehow it stabilized. It seemed like
it seemed overcooked.
like it was overcooked.
Yeah.
Then you prepped it, put it in that bowl while
Mm.
you did the shrimp, and then it was perfect. So I don't know.
Yeah, it still had a bit of a bite, as
Yeah.
they say al dente, and I was
Yeah.
like, well, how did that happen? How does it go from feeling overcooked to? So I have no idea, but it was more of a pain in the butt, and even just the preparation of the vegetables, like cutting this or slicing that. I think we're gonna change a little bit of that for like the next trip, like maybe do some prep work ahead of time.
Yeah, and bring it out in maybe individual little
Yeah, exactly.
Ziplocs
Like
or
if we
something.
need diced onion, don't dice it out here. I've had, like we were talking earlier, I've ordered for my family. I've had 2 of the meal plans, or where you order the meals in. One was like they would give you the onion, and then another one they gave you a sealed bag with the diced onion. So you didn't have to do any of your, what are they, the mise en place or mise en place or whatever you want to say it. But it was all prepped, and I'm like, that's the perfect way to do this. I think that's what we need to do.
Right.
Rather than, while it's nice and we could show you filming us and we could prep it all out here, I think if we can have it all even in simple sandwich Ziploc bags.
Yeah.
The onion, the celery, the carrots or whatever.
Right.
Rather than trying to do it on a flimsy table, or even trying to chop it and like not worrying about it, just having to throw it in and saute it. I think that's
well,
going
that's
to be
another
way
thing.
easier.
It's not like you can do something, then you have your favorite knife. You don't just rinse it at the sink. You know, that's another thing is the hygiene of cooking. Oh, you're having to clean your hands. Well, you know, we don't have sinks and running water out here.
The amount of water, and most of the water we plan for drinking water. We don't plan. You had that one jug, which was great because we brought it simply for the pasta because I knew we needed a lot of water. And you're not going to use bottled water because that's.
I usually bring that for campfires when it's season.
Oh, to put it out.
Because I can carry it real easy. The double the size, it's just too big. That's a 2.5 gallon one, and it's perfect size. It sits on the floorboard. I love it.
But I will say this: I think the meals, even though the one last night was kind of like we got it there, I think they're way more enjoyable than just having like a pour in boiling water sort of thing, and it makes it the camp life. Hey, look, a hummingbird.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hello, Mr. Hummingbird or Mrs. Hummingbird. It was like the 3rd one we've seen already. Lots of them.
No, it was good, and it's 100 times better than what we were normally doing.
Yeah, exactly. And even the breakfast, having French toast in the morning. I'm like, oh man,
I need a nap. So why don't you tell us about the bear?
Well, you were the one who actually heard it. You heard something like like a hoof or something on the rocks.
I thought it was a hoof on the rocks of one of these trails.
Just there
but then it could have been claws, or it could have been a rock hitting another rock. I heard that.
Definitely something moving.
Yeah, moving right down this way.
Yeah, because you were like, you hear that? And I'm like. No.
And there's cattle, a lot of cattle in this area. So I'm like, oh, maybe it's a cow walking down the road or something. But then I heard like a
very deep,
like an exhale.
Yeah.
Like if your dog exhaled, you know, if your dog weighed 400 pounds and looked like a black bear.
And it was quite like a distance, so it had to have been loud and it was deep guttural.
Because we're kind of up on a plateau. It does go down over there, but we heard it right there this way. And then the next time I heard it was right there.
Yeah, so it was moving across.
It was moving in an arc around us, and it was getting louder and louder.
And we heard it again further that way.
Yeah.
But I know, at first I agreed with you. I thought it was, and it may still be a bear, but we also heard in the morning, we heard all the female elk. You could hear them calling. And this funny thing is, the inner nerds of us, we actually recognized the call of the female elk because we played the game Call of the Wild, that's a hunting simulator, and we're like, that's female elk, and we're like, oh, that's really cool. And then it was a crazy
coyote pack.
Like, we were hearing the elk over there, and then like half an hour later or something like that, just nutso, like a pack of coyotes just yipping and yowling and everything. Like, I don't know if they got one of the elk or something, but they were definitely going nuts over there.
They had something.
Yeah, they were going absolutely crazy. And I did hear the same noise, the bear or whatever it was.
It was a bear.
When you were sleeping, because I was like, oh.
You sure it wasn't me?
No. You you had a light snore. But I heard it at around somewhere between 3:45 to 4:30 ish.
But that was this way then.
yeah, it was on that side.
180 degrees around
so
us.
I'm like, oh my god, is it coming back? So then my sleep was ruined because I was constantly listening for like branches snapping, because like I'm just like a delicious little snack wrapped up in an umbrella.
It's like a burrito.
Yeah, exactly. So it messes with your sleep a lot too. That's the big thing.
Well, the other thing is we're coming up on a full moon in 2 days. So we had the moon, but the clouds are coming in and out. So it would give you enough light to mess with your eyes, play tricks on your eyes.
It would like pulse as the clouds were going off. It would be like all of a sudden bright and you could see everything, and then nothing. And then you're looking, you're like, is that something there?
But my ears don't deceive me. I definitely track that thing all
Oh,
the way
you could
around
hear
us.
it. That was really distinct. I don't know, again, I don't hear bears a lot, so I can't say one way or another, but my first instinct was to agree with you. I'm like, it was so deep and heavy. I was like,
is a bear.
and there are black bears in the area, so, and we saw black bear dung.
And mountain lion, but you would never hear. The mountain lion would come in and just kill you. You wouldn't hear it sneaking up on you.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
That was what I was worried about, but I know they like pouncing from elevation.
Yep.
And this is really flat here, so I wasn't really thinking mountain lion. I was just thinking bears, but bears can be scared off fairly easily. But
I mean, I had my stuff, but I didn't want to have to pop off a cap anything.
No, we don't want to injure anything out here. It's
simply I'd let it just gnaw on you, and then I'd shoo it away.
I always thought it would be cool if it was just like, okay, if I get it, just kill it after, but I want one claw mark here so I could tell the story. It'd be really cool. You're an idiot. I can hear my wife already. You're an idiot. That's so dumb.